ultimately want to educate socially engaged information professionals so that when you leave the school, you will go out and be prepared to enter any industry, any particular information professional role, and that you will be able to do it in a way that, like, you think about it in a way that impacts society positively. So as of this year, just starting last summer in 2013, we created this umbrella program called the Initiative for Information Impact. We really like I's here, if you maybe didn't notice. So information school, I schools, the 3 I's that Jeff just talked about, this is a 3 different I program, but Initiative for Information Impact. And so this is a collection of curricular and co-curricular programs that you as a student can take part in. And ultimately what it is it's an opportunity for you to engage within the community, both locally or globally, and try on your information professional skills. And so you're going to be working with organizations in a variety of different ways, whether it's really short-term, quite long-term, and able to practice and apply and change the way that you think about how information can be used. And so I'm going to talk about these specific programs, but mainly curricular programs are Citizen Interaction Design and the Global Information Engagement Program, which Jeff alluded to. The Peace Corps program, we're launching 2 partnerships with that. And then co-curricular programs are Alternative Spring Break, A2 Data Dive, Michigan Makers, Community Impact Projects, and then our own internal service day. So Jeff gave you a great little overview of Citizen Interaction Design, and as he said, this is a 3-year partnership with the city of Jackson, which is about 35 miles west of here. And it's a founding city in the state of Michigan. It has a strong history both industrially and politically here. And we are through Cliff Lampy, who you may get to meet during your weekend here, he's a professor who's leading this up. And this is a multi-term engagement opportunity for students like you to work with the city in real-world projects that are developed in order to engage citizenship in a new way. So this is being done in big cities around the country. Cities like San Francisco, Chicago, New York City are developing applications and information tools that allow for citizens to talk with their municipality or their government better. But this is really not being done at a smaller level. So the city of Jackson is about 30,000 people. And when you think about having an opportunity like this to develop these information tools and replicate them, these can be replicated in a city like thousands and thousands of times, because there are cities like Jackson all over the country. Cities like Chicago and New York, there's only a couple of them. There's 4 or 5. So we're looking to create new and novel information tools that affect everybody in the country, not just people who live in large urban metropolitan areas. Excuse me. I have a cold. I'm a little stuffy, so. This is taking part, as Jeff mentioned, in a continuous sort of way. Typical civic engagement programs end at a term. So you guys, like April comes and everybody goes off and does their internship or their graduate. Well, in our partnership with the city, we stay there. So we have students who work in internships over the summer who are taking part in a reading seminar during the fall term, in which the actual city staff come and engage with that. And then during the winter term, which is going on right now, we have a design class, a 3-credit design class. As you can see on here, these are this term students. We go to Jackson every other week. So we take you in a bus, a blue bus, and drive out there, and you get to work in the city with your partner there. So there are 10 projects that are going on there, but here's 3 sample ones that I wanted to just briefly tell you about that are the sort of information projects that the students are working on. One is that they're working with the city police department, and they're developing an application where people can anonymously text crime in order to the police department, so that they're not considered to be a snitch, but they're able to report crimes that are going on. A second project is about open policy data within the city. So what do you do with this data? What is all this information that you're collecting? What's the actual policy around that? And then the third one is the development of a digital cemetery record archive. So they have books and digital information on the cemetery going back to about the 1880s, and it's just all sitting in a room, and they want to scan it and find out what's actually going on with this. So you can see that these projects really hit up a variety of different areas of interest and will engage a whole different range of citizens in order for them to learn and work with their government in a new way. So a second curricular program is the Global Information Engagement Program, and this is I don't want to call it a study abroad program, but it is the study abroad program of the School of Information. So you can spend summer 2015 in India if you're interested. And the projects that students are working on there are high social impact projects projects with India-based organizations. Generally, these organizations are nonprofits, some of them are universities, but they're also software companies, because ultimately, the projects that students are working on, really it's about impacting society, not so much the nature of the organization. And these are groups of students. We have 19 students going this year, and they are from all across the university. So mainly School of Information students, but this is also an opportunity to get to work with students from urban planning and architecture, School of Public Health, the Ford School. So we recruit students all over in order to work on this, because we believe that the multidisciplinary approach to this is most important. So here's the students. There's the 19 of them that are going, and they'll be departing to India in about 6 weeks. They're working on 6 different projects. 2 of them are the sort of projects that they're working on this year. 2 projects are the interactive portals, and one is on India disability policy. So within India, there is really no main resource or place for people to go in order to find out what is the disability policy, both at state and at federal level. So if you are an advocate or a person with a disability, you're really kind of lost. Unless you are able to go, if there's a resource for you. And so this will be an opportunity for all of this information to be pulled together and for people to be able to talk with each other and share information. Similarly to that is a human rights lawyer interactive portal, where human rights lawyers are able to share information about the work that they're doing, and also public can go in and find out about cases that are going on, about how to find a human rights lawyer in order to work with them. Similar other projects, though, are healthcare metrics analysis. There's a team of students with some health informatics students that are working with not just health informatics students, MSI Health Informatics, and School of Public Health students that are working with a group of hospitals in Chennai, India, to develop health analytics systems. And lastly, this is the same one that Jeff mentioned, is there's a group of students working with the NGO Digital Green to develop an interface for rural agriculture training development. So they have like a train-the-trainer sort of model, and these students are working on developing better educational tools for those trainers. So if you are particularly interested in GIEP, this happens really quickly, that you would start come in fall, and the application happens in fall, and then during winter term you start working with your organization already. And then during that winter term you're doing virtual consultation with them, phone calls and webinars and things like that, in order to get your project up and going. And then during the summer you will go to India for 6 to 12 weeks and work with your organization to implement, refine, and then train the organization on the projects. Because ultimately what you want to do with both of these, both citizen interaction design and GIEP, is that when you leave, that the organization can sustain the tool that you built for them. So the signature program of service here at the School of Information is Alternative Spring Break. If you come here to Michigan and join us and participate in ASB next year, you will be participating in the 17th year of this program. This is a little bit different from an ASB you might have participated in during undergrad, in that this is considered to be a skills-based volunteer program. So traditional ASB programs are where students go and they work on feeding the homeless or maybe building a house with Habitat for Humanity. We work with organizations on capacity building projects. So you're working more on the back end. You're going to go in and you're going to analyze their information usage. You might look at their website. You might help them process collections that haven't been touched. You might look at their data and help them figure out, make better decisions through that sort of analysis. So but mainly, it's over the week of spring break, so about half to two-thirds of our students go and participate on this. It's in New York, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Detroit. And we work, let me show you the sort of organizations we work with. So public sector organizations. And so to us, that means government, educational, cultural, heritage, and nonprofit organizations. So some are very high-level organizations like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Smithsonian, the Library of Congress, and then we work also with a lot of grassroots NGOs or nonprofits, such as like 826 New York, Illinois Legal Aid Online, and then other ones like the Trevor Project in New York. And then students work on a whole array of projects, anything that's information related. So library development, data analysis, information policy review, all sorts of different things. Super fun, great community building activity. Everybody has a great time and they all come back and they're just like, that was the best 1 week ever. So moving on, literally on Wednesday, we are signing into effect here at the School of Information a partnership with the Peace Corps program. The acting director of the Peace Corps will be here on campus to sign our partnership agreement. It's very exciting for us. We have 2 programs that will be available for students to participate in. The first one is a Coverdell Fellowship. So if you have participated in the Peace Corps, you're eligible for a potential scholarship related to, if you're coming back, as a Coverdell Fellow here at the School of Information. And then related to that is we will work with you in order to help you find an internship where you are working with an underserved American population, just to further on that Peace Corps mission. A secondary partnership program with the Peace Corps is our Master's International program. And this is where you come to SI and you get here and you apply to join the Peace Corps. And then you do a term or 2 here, and then you go off for 27 months, complete your Peace Corps service, and then come back and finish your master's program. So ultimately, we have an internship requirement here for the MSI program. This would fulfill your internship requirement. And this also has an associated potential scholarship with it. So another additional co-curricular program that you can participate in is Michigan Makers. And this is, if you're familiar with the maker movement happening in America, it's very exciting, it's very cool. This is where the students here at the School of Information go and work with some of the local middle school and elementary school populations and after-school programs and tinker and create through a variety of different ways. So here's Stephen Liu up here working on, I think, a circuit board. Some of the projects that they've worked on over the past year are doing 3D modeling, so we have a 3D printer. Game design, both paper and technical game design, Arduino circuit boards, printing, animation, squishy circuits, dough. I actually don't really know what that is, but it sounds really awesome. Legos, so all sorts of things in which you can work with students that are, these young kids and help them think about other opportunities and develop their science skills and interests. They have a Flickr photo stream that you can go look at, and I highly recommend that you go look at it. Just search Michigan Makers on the SI website, because you can see the array of projects that the students have worked on, and the kids are just adorable. So I recommend going to check it out. So something that's been going on here at the School of Information for a long time, but it has finally been formalized under the Initiative for Information Impact, is community impact projects. And so this is an opportunity for students to go out and work with organizations on information-related needs. So a lot of nonprofits and other organizations that are under-resourced, understaffed, don't have staff on hand in order to do information-related things. They're social workers, generally, or they're people who are within politics and government and things like that. So students can go and work with these organizations and help them just improve their information abilities. And so this could be anything from a 1-day to up to a year-long project. And I work with students who are interested in these particular things. I am the liaison with the community. I bring in a lot of projects from nonprofits, both locally and globally. And the students, and individual students and student organizations go and work with them. Mainly our community impact, or community information core student organization works on these, but all student organizations have been helping out a lot more in the community. So one of the main things that we hear from organizations a lot is that they need website help. They need web presence help. And so if you are looking to ramp up any sort of web skills, experience, usability testing, social media, things like that, they're lining up at the door. And so these are things that you can work with these organizations for an afternoon, 1 day after work, or you can do it for 2 years. So one of the groups of students has been working with a local theater for 2 years to enhance their online presence. So two projects. So Jeff already talked about A2 Data Dive, so I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but these are 2 projects here that are going on at the school that are student-led initiatives. Data Dive is a weekend hackathon that happened in November last year, where the students work with local organizations to look at their big data and analyze it and help them do better decision-making around data. These staff in these organizations don't have the know-how or the technical resources in order to really look at these large data sets in order to make better decisions about how they're serving their constituents or their populations. Really cool, and then they go on all year long and do all sorts of different training programs. So prior to Data Dive, they have professionals come in and train students who are going to participate in Data Dive on the different skills and help, so that when you actually show up at Data Dive, you have skills to apply and work with the organizations. And then the other one is UMSI Service Day, which happens the weekend of Martin Luther King Day on Saturday, Martin Luther King Day weekend. And it's a day of community service for the entire SI community. So faculty, staff, students, and friends all come together and work with different organizations, both on SI-related and un-SI-related projects. So you might be working on a website, or you might be painting stairs somewhere. So all sorts of different things. It's just really fun, and it's a great way to come together and do some good in the world. And lastly, so a great new benefit to this year is that we have some funding to support these things. So you as a student are eligible to apply for these. So the first one is international internships. So if you are interested in going abroad for your summer internship, you can apply for funding for that. We also have a brand new service engagement internship grant in which students who are working on social justice oriented or high societal impact or internships that serve underserved populations in America or even globally, you can apply for funding for your internship. And so we are here to support students who want to pursue this particular area of information. And then the last thing we have is community engagement project grants. So these are when you want to engage with an organization, and it's not exactly an internship, it's a little bit bigger, it doesn't meet the internship requirements here. You as a student or your student organization can apply for funding in order to support that. These are really exciting. I am so excited to get this out. I have the email for this year's class ready to go. So staff is here to help, ultimately. So lots of great things to participate in when you're a student here. And like Jeff said, don't do them all, but definitely pick the ones that you think are most exciting and most interesting to you. But ultimately, I am here, and we have staff, I'm from the Career Development Office. We are all here to help to make sure that you can do the things that you want to do, and you can make the choices that are best for you. And I can help you find projects within the community, tell you about which organizations are going to be great ones to work with. I can help prepare you, work with you to bring in people to train you on the things that you need to know about entering communities, working with these sort of organizations, and just advise and consult you.